Now, I would like to ask you some questions about yourself. Do you have an experience when you did something well?
Yes, absolutely. When I was in primary school, I did excellently on my tasks. My teachers praised me in front of the class, and my parents even bought me expensive toys. I was really proud of myself at that time, and I strived even more for excellence in my academic performance.
Do you have an experience when your teacher thought you did a good job?
Yeah, during primary school, I did excellently in tasks, and the teacher praised me a lot. She told me that I did a really good job, and I remembered that she even called me to her office and gave me a cup of bubble tea.
Do you often tell your friends when they do something well?
Yes, absolutely. When my friend did something well, I praised them because I want to give them positive feedback and comments so that they can stride further in their performance. I think that my constructive feedback can push them further in their field.
Have you ever borrowed money from others?
Yes, absolutely. I've borrowed money from other people before, and it was a normal things to do, even though I don't like it very much. I hate borrowing money from other people. I just want to use my own money because I know that borrowing money will only bring hassles to my life. Being in doubt is annoying as people will call me to ask for a return of money.
Have you borrowed books from others?
Yeah, I've borrowed books before, and it is not a really good experience, even though I know that borrowing books is not something bad. Borrowing books could expand my reading lists and allows me to indulge in new kinds of reading.
Do you mind if others borrow money from you?
Yes, absolutely. I hate being borrowed money because I will have to remember who borrowed my money so that I will remind them to return my money in the future, which is quite a hassle to me. I would rather people stop borrowing money from me.
Do you like to lend things to others?
Yes, absolutely. I would love to lend things to others, especially my food, which allows me to strengthen my connection with other people and allows me to become better person in the eyes of others because of my generosity.
How do you feel when people don't return things they borrowed from you?
I feel annoyed and frustrated when people don't return things they borrowed from me. I would remind them to return the items, and if they insist to keep the item, I would definitely never ever lend them my item ever after.
Now, I am going to give you a topic and you will talk about it for 1 to 2 minutes. Remember to take notes. Please start speaking now.
Let me take a moment to describe a time when I encourage someone to do something that she didn't want to. Her name is Emily. She's my best friend. Last summer, my friend had a singing competition, and I encouraged her to join the contest because she had a really angelic and beautiful voice. But the way she reacted was really surprising, as she refused to do it. Even though she was a beautiful girl with an angelic voice, she couldn't win the prize. However, she was being negative and told me that she would not be able to win the prize. So I gave her positive feedback and comment, so as to push her further in her own performance. Anyway, eventually she entered the competition, which was a huge success to me.
Earlier we talked about describe a time when you encourage someone to do something that he/she didn't want to do. Now, I will ask you some more questions related to this topic. How can employers encourage their staff?
Well, employers can encourage their staff by giving them money. Financial incentive is actually the most motivating factor. Their staff will definitely obey their command due to a huge amount of money. Apart from that, employers can also make use of food, as food is the surviving factor. And when their staff feel hungry, they will definitely obey their employers to gain the food.
Should children do everything their parents ask them to do?
Yeah, in the ideal scenario is that children obey adults in every command. However, it is not the reality. Children can only and should only and will ever obey a command from their parents. Because after all, children have their own right of independence and freedom, so they will not listen to their parents in every command.
Do you think some people are better than others at persuading?
Yes, absolutely. Some people are better than others in persuading because they have polished this skill of them before. It is not a really it is not a really surprising thing. After all, some people tend to have language skills that they can pick up communication skills quickly than other people. However, in general, people's with learning skills will definitely be good at persuading.
What kind of encouragement should parents give?
Parents should give constructive and positive encouragement to their children, because they need to feel motivated and appreciated by their parents in order to strive for excellence in their performance. Children want a sense of security, therefore they need parents' positive encouragement. After all, they know what to do, they just lack the encouragement that pushes them further in their career.
How can financial incentives impact employee motivation long term? What kind of encouragement should parents give? Have you borrowed books from others?
When borrowing books from others, I have to face return deadlines and keep the condition. Oh. There are challenges that I face during the time that I borrow books from others. It is missing books, maintaining the condition of books, and face return deadlines.
That's a clear explanation. You could say, I face issues like missing books, keeping them in good condition, and meeting return deadlines. How do you usually handle these challenges?
I face issues like missing books, keeping them in good condition, and meeting return deadlines. To handle these challenges, I set reminders, check book condition, and communicate with my friends in advance to extend the deadline. Talk to my friend early. Oh, So I have some tips for borrowing books, like organizing a book borrowing schedule, keeping a list of borrowing books, and using bookmarks for tracking.
That's great advice. You could say, I suggest making a borrowing schedule, keeping a list of borrowed books, and using bookmarks to track them. How do you keep your list of borrowed books organized?
To keep my list of borrowed books organized, I use a notebook, a digital apps, and a simple spreadsheet.
That's a good system. You could say, I organize my borrowed books with a notebook, digital apps, and a simple spreadsheet. Which method do you find most helpful?
Yes, absolutely. I've borrowed books from others before. It could be a good way for me to explore different genders, but it also comes with some challenges like missing book, meeting return deadlines, and keeping track of my borrowed books. I usually have a digital app or a notebook to organize my borrowed books and to remind me to return them on time. Yes, absolutely. I've borrowed books from others before. It could be a good way for me to explore different genders, but yes, absolutely. I've borrowed books from others before. It is a good way for me to explore different genres of books, but it also comes with challenges like missing books, meeting the return deadlines, and keeping track of my borrowed books. I usually have a digital app or a notebook to organize my borrowed books and to remind me to return them on time. Yes, absolutely. I've borrowed books from others before. It is a good way for me to explore different genres of books, but it also comes with challenges like missing books, meeting the return deadlines, and keeping track of my borrowed books. I usually have a digital app or a notebook to organize my borrowed books and to remind me to return them on time.
Should children do everything their parents ask them to do?
No, absolutely not. Children has their own uh, opinions when it comes to different kinds of tasks surrounding them. They should know what to do and what not to do. Instead of obey to their parents, in every comment. No, absolutely not. Children has their own uh, to encourage children to express their own opinions. Parents should encourage open dialogue, respect children's choices, and teach them decision making skills.
That's a great answer. How do you think parents can create an environment that supports open dialogue with their children?
No, absolutely not. Parents. No, absolutely not. From a parental perspective, parents should provide safe space for children to cultivate their sense of autonomy instead of asking them to obey every demand. No, absolutely not. From a parental perspective, parents should. No, absolutely not. From a parental perspective, parents should provide space for children to cultivate their sense of autonomy instead of asking them to obey to every demand. No, absolutely not. From a parental perspective, parents should provide space for children to cultivate their sense of autonomy instead of asking them to obey to every demand. Not absolutely. From a parental perspective, parents should cultivate their children's sense of autonomy by providing safe space for interaction. Apart from that, parents should also listen actively to their children so that they can provide support to their child. Not absolutely. From a parental perspective, parents should cultivate their children's sense of autonomy. Not absolutely. From a parental perspective, Parents should cultivate their children's sense of autonomy by providing safe space for interaction. Apart from that, parents should also listen attentively to their children so that they can provide support to their child. Not absolutely. From a parental perspective, parents should cultivate their children's sense of autonomy by providing safe space for interaction. Apart from that, parents should also listen attentively to their children so that they can provide support to their child.